everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the Finance Current Affairs session. Today, I want to share with you a very happy news that at last the India has achieved what it has been trying to achieve for the past 10 months. So since January 2022, we have seen that the inflation, the retail inflation, the consumer price index, this was continuously above 6%. That is the upper tolerance level of the Reserve Bank of India, of the inflation rate in India. So the inflation has been above 6% since January till October 2022, and the data for November 2022 is out for the retail inflation, the CPI, the consumer price index, and at last we have achieved, we have come down to 5.88% of the retail inflation. So this is a very big news that after 10 months of the struggle, in the 11th month we have seen that the inflation has come in between. The retail inflation has achieved the range that is in between 2% to 6%, and it has come down from the upper tolerance level. So of course we still want that the inflation should be around 4%, it should be near 4%, and the trouble is still there, but at last we have at least achieved the range that we had. Okay, from the above 6% we have at last come down to the 5.88% in November 2022. So that is a big news that at last we have been able to achieve the retail inflation in the range. So this is a big news that you all have to remember, that you all must be very happy that we have been waiting for this, and we were not expecting this to happen in this year only, but at last with the efforts of the government, with the efforts of the RBI, we can say that we were able to achieve this in this year only. And the economy, we can say, it has been remained so resilient in front of the outside pressures that came, in front of the geopolitical situations that came, and with the effort of the whole of the economy, we were able to achieve this. Okay, so in November 2022 the data is out. The retail inflation is 5.88%, that is below 6%, that is below the upper tolerance level. So now, after being happy and all, let's start with today's topic. That is, today's topic is regarding urban cooperative banks. Okay, so today we are going to see that what are the revised regulatory framework that is given by the Reserve Bank of India for the urban cooperative banks. So the RBI has released 3 notifications in which it has told about the revised regulatory framework for the urban cooperative bank. So we are going to discuss about all of that. What is the 4-tiered regulatory framework? What is the FSWM? So we are going to discuss about all of that. But before starting with the session, there is a big announcement from EduTap that we have brought for you the comprehensive guide for RBI, NABARD and SEBI. So through a single guidebook, you can get all your common queries answered. If you want to know about the examination, that what is the pattern for the exam, what is the syllabus for the exam, and what is the previous year cutoff for the exam, all of these common queries can be answered through a single guidebook. You do not have to visit different links, you do not have to visit different websites. Even if you want to know about the preparation, that what should be the strategy for preparation, what should be the sources for preparation, all of these common queries can be answered through a single guidebook, and this is absolutely free of cost to save your time, to save your effort. So this is provided and you can easily download this guidebook. The link is given in the description box below. Do download this free ebook, that is to save your time and save your efforts, and this is going to boost the level of your understanding for the examination. Now coming to the news article for today, that is regarding the revised regulatory framework for UCBs. The RBI has released the notification on 1 December 2022. So the RBI has released the notification for the revised regulatory framework for UCBs on this. But see, in July 19, 2022, the RBI has released the notification before regarding the major recommendations. So what was happening, that the RBI has formed a committee. It was an expert committee on the urban cooperative banks to give the suggestions, to give the recommendations regarding how we can boost the urban cooperative banks, how we can support the growth of the urban cooperative banks. So there was the expert committee that was formed in February 2021, and this was under the chairmanship of Shri N.S. Vishwanathan. Okay, he was the former Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, and this committee was made to provide the recommendations regarding the medium-term roadmap for the growth of the UCBs, for the growth of the urban cooperative banks, as well as to suggest the measures for the faster resolution of the UCBs if they are in trouble, that how we can take them out of this trouble. So for that also the committee has to provide recommendations. The committee had also to provide the recommendations regarding the suitable regulatory and supervisory changes for the strengthening of the UCBs, that how the regulatory framework should be changed so that the UCBs can be helped to grow. Okay, for the strengthening of the sector, for the strengthening of the UCBs. So this committee has to provide the major recommendations, and this committee provided the major recommendations, and that was released in the website of the RBI on August 23rd and 2021. And in July 2022, the RBI, in July 2022, the RBI said that we have accepted the accepted recommendation, major recommendations that has been accepted was released in July 2022. So the RBI has accepted, the major recommendations from this expert committee, and that was released in July 19, 2022. But the RBI in this notification, the RBI said that the revised instructions from when it is going to start and when the recommendations will be going to be started, that the RBI has accepted. Whenever necessary, this will be issued separately in due course, that when they are going to start and the details about these recommendations. So the RBI has said that we will be releasing separate notification in due course, and now the 3 separate notifications has been released by the RBI. Okay, regarding the recommendations that has been accepted and the details regarding those recommendations. So I hope you have understood the background, that the expert committee was formed. The expert committee gave the recommendations. Those recommendations, there were many recommendations that were accepted by the RBI, that was informed by the RBI in July. And the RBI said that we will be providing separate notification, separate instructions, so that from when it is starting, details about the recommendations can be understood. And now this is the first notification, this is the first that the RBI has released on 1st December 2022. So the RBI has released the notification named Revised Regulatory Framework, the categorization of the cooperative banks. So now we are going to understand that how the urban cooperative banks are categorized, okay, in different categories. So first of all, what is the need for the categorization? There is much heterogeneity that is there in the UCBs, in the urban cooperative banks. There are very small urban cooperative banks that have a very less deposit size, that has very less credit that they are providing. So there are the small, very small UCBs that are present, and on the other segment there are the large UCBs that are present, that have a huge deposit size, that are providing the credit in huge numbers. So there is the size that is difference, okay, as well as there are the UCBs that are providing a few of the services only. They are only providing the loans, and they are only taking the deposits. They are not giving the internet facilities, or they are not giving the doorstep facilities for the customers for the banking services. But there are the other UCBs that are providing the major activities, okay, that are providing the complex business activities, like the internet facilities, not only the view only, but the internet facilities for the transaction purposes, and they are providing the doorstep customer services and such. So there is much heterogeneity in the cooperative sector, okay. In the urban cooperative banks, there is much heterogeneity, there is much differences in the size, in the spirit, as well as the smaller sizes UCBs are present, and those with limited area of operation. They only want to take the deposit and give the loans, against the other that have the growth ambitions. They are the large sized UCBs that have the spread of the operations, that provide an area of operations, okay. They are providing the internet facilities, they are providing the doorstep customer service facilities. So there is much difference that is there in the urban cooperative banks, okay. So like we humans, we are very different. Similarly, the UCBs are also very different, okay. So accordingly, it has been decided to adopt a 4-tiered regulatory framework. So before there were only 2 tiers, but now it has been decided that the UCBs will be in 4 tiers. The urban cooperative banks will be in 4 categories, we can say, okay. So going forward, what will happen, that the different categories will have different regulations. Like the small UCBs, they do not need much regulation. They are only working a little in a limited range. But the large UCBs, they are working in a very huge range. They have a range of facilities. So there should be different kind of regulations for both of them, okay. So that's why the categorization may be used for differentiated regulatory prescriptions aimed at strengthening the financial soundness of the UCBs, okay. So let's understand the tiers, that what are the categories, what are the 4 categories, okay. So here you can see the 4 categories. The categories are formed on what basis? It is formed on the deposit size basis. Okay, so the 4 tiers for the regulatory purposes, these are the 4 tiers, and they are based on the deposit size. Okay, so all unit UCBs, all UCBs that only have one unit, that only have one like they are only present in one jurisdiction, they are only one like infrastructure is only one, they are only one branch, we can say. So those are the unit UCBs. They are of course not spread to other areas, they are only in one area, they are only one. So, and the salary earners UCBs. So salary earner banks are, or the UCBs are essentially thrift societies. They are the saving societies that is set up by the employees of the governmental departments or the public sector units or the large establishments for mutual help on the principles of cooperation. So that is the employees are coming together, the salary earners are coming together to save in a way. So all unit UCBs, they are very small because they are only present in one area, they are only one branch, we can say. And the salary earner UCBs, they are also very small because they are only the employees that are coming together to save in a way. So irrespective of deposit size, they as well as the all UCBs, all other UCBs that have the deposit size of up to 100 crore, they will come in the tier 1. So all unit UCBs and the salaried earner UCBs and the UCBs that have this deposit size up to 100 crores will come in tier 1. In the tier 2, the UCBs will come that have deposits more than 100 crore up to 1000 crores. In the tier 3, UCBs with deposit size of more than 1000 crore up to 10,000 crore. And the UCBs that have deposits with more than 10,000 crores, they will come in tier 4. So I hope you have understood that there are the 4 tiers. There are the 4 tiers starting from the smallest ones. Okay, starting from the smallest one that have the deposit size up to 100. Then coming to tier 2, 100 to 1000. Then coming to tier 3, 1000 to 10,000. Then coming to the largest of the UCBs that have the deposit size more than 10,000 crores. So you can understand that there are the smallest kind of UCBs and there are the very big UCBs. So of course the regulatory sanctions, the regulatory decisions should be different for the 2 kind of UCBs. Of course the big UCBs have more area of growth, more area of expansion, more area of operation they will have, and they will also want to expand because they have so much money, so they have so much deposit size. Okay, so the deposits referred to above shall be reckoned as per audited balance. So how you will know that in which category the UCBs will come? So this will be as per the audited balance sheet as on the 31st March of the immediately preceding financial year, so the previous financial year. If a UCB is going from the tier 1 to tier 2 or a UCB is going from the tier 2 to tier 3, so what will happen that if the UCB transits to a higher tier on account of increase in deposits, so what will happen that the UCB will be provided a glide path of up to a maximum of 3 years to comply with higher regulatory requirements. So of course this tier 1 will have a lower regulatory requirement and the tier 2 will have a higher regulatory requirement. So if a UCB is converting from a tier 1 to tier 2, so it will have to change the regulatory prescription. Now it will have to change the regulatory system of its organization, and if the tier 2 is going to tier 3, so for that the glide path has been provided of 3 years, so that in the 3 years the UCB is able to manage the regulatory requirements, okay, able to achieve the regulatory requirements, because from the tier 1 when the UCB is going to tier 2, in the tier 1 it has to maintain 9% of the CRAR, but in the tier 2 it has to maintain 12% of the CRAR, so that is a big deal. Okay, we will understand the CRAR in the coming session. So I hope you have understood the whole of the concept, this notification, that there are the 4 tiers. Okay, so now moving to the next notification that was released by the Reserve Bank of India, that the review of norms for classification of urban cooperative banks as financially sound and well managed. Okay, so what is this financially sound and well managed? That is, they are working very well, they have the higher regulatory requirements and they are managing their regulatory requirements, they are achieving their regulatory requirements and they are doing very well in their segment. Okay, so the review of norms for classification of the urban cooperative banks. So there are some urban cooperative banks that we can say are financially sound and well managed. And how we can say that they are financially sound and well managed? By seeing this criteria. Okay, So in order to ensure a financially sound and stable cooperative sector, select UCBs are termed as financially sound and well managed, and this depends on the fulfillment of certain parameters. So when a UCB is fulfilling certain parameters, then it will be called as FSWM. Okay. So it has been decided to revise the criteria. Now the notification was out in 1 December 2022 with the revised criteria. So these are the revised criteria, that the CRAR shall be at least 1% point above the minimum CRAR. So the tier 4 UCB has to have 12% of the CRAR. So if it is managing, if it is having plus 1%, that is if it is having 13% of the CRAR is what? It is the capital to risk weighted asset ratio. That is when you are giving a loan, okay, then that is the risk that you are taking. Against that, you should keep some capital with yourself. What if this loan will not come back? Then the company will go down, the bank will go down. So against all the loans that the company is giving, the bank is keeping some of the capital with itself. So if the bank is giving 100 crores, or if the bank is giving 10 crores, let's say, as a loan, as the total loan, it is keeping 10% of the total loan, or it is keeping 12% of the total loan. This much 12% of the total loan is kept, the money is kept, or in the form of the capital, it is kept by the banks, so that it provides a cushion to the bank, so that in the distress situation, if 1 crore is not coming back from this 10 crores, or if 50 lakh or if 10 lakh is not coming back, so the bank can manage without that money also. Okay, so this is the CRAR for the tier 4. For the tier 4 UCBs, for the tier 3 UCBs, so they have to maintain 12% of the capital with themselves, so that it provides a cushion in the distress situation. Okay. The net NPA of not more than 3%, the non-performing assets, the net non-performing assets should not be more than 3% for a urban cooperative bank if they want to become a FSWM. Net profit for at least 3 out of 4 preceding years, subject to it not having incurred a net loss in the immediate preceding year. So out of the 4 years, you should have the profits for 3 years, especially the 3 years, like the last year, you should have the profit, okay, out of the 4 years. So no default in the maintenance of the CRR or the SLR, that is the cash reserve ratio, and the statutory liquidity ratio. You should not default in this, because this is what you are keeping. The CRR is what you are keeping with the RBI, the SLR you are keeping with yourself, and that this is regulated by the RBI, so you should not default in this. The bank should not default in this. Sound internal control system with at least 2 professional directors on the board. The core banking solution that connects the different branches of the banks of the UCB, okay, like UCB has different branches in different areas, how they will get connected. So through the core banking solution, this should be fully implemented. No monetary penalty should have been imposed on the bank on account of violation by the RBI, because if you have violated, that means you are not a financially sound and well managed. So these are the criteria for becoming the financially sound and well managed. You can see this, and I hope now you understand. You have to remember the percentages. Okay, so for today, in order now, what will happen, that after becoming the financially sound and well managed, what will be the good thing that will happen? So in order to boost the growth opportunities in the sector, it has been decided to introduce the automatic route. So the FSWM, the UCBs that have become the FSWM, that is the financially sound and well managed UCBs, they will be getting the automatic route for branch expansion. So if you are a financially sound and well managed UCB, you will be getting a growth opportunity. You will be getting the automatic route for the branch expansion to the UCBs which meet the FSWM criteria and permit them to open new branches up to 10% of the number of branches as the end of the previous financial year. So if you have, like in the previous financial year, you have the 100 of the branches, so you will get 10% to open through the automatic route if you are a FSWM, if you are a financially sound and well managed UCB. Okay, so the branch expansion will become very easy in the previous routes also. So here one more thing that I wanted to tell you, that the CRAR, it can be the UCBs in any tier that can become the FSWM. Okay, the UCBs that are present in any tier can become the FSWM by following these criteria. So the CRAR that the tier 1 UCB has to maintain is 9%. So if the tier 1 UCB is maintaining 9% plus 1%, then also it can become the FSWM UCB if it is doing good in the other areas also. Okay. So for today we are not going to do the CRAR and the net worth. So we have already done two of the notifications. The first notifications was regarding the categorization, and the second notification was regarding the financially sound and well managed. The third notification was regarding the CRAR and the net worth, and there were other informations that were provided. But this will be a very lengthy session if I take these topics also, and then you will not be able to understand also very well, because I will be in a hurry to end the session. But I hope you have understood at least these two notifications very well. In the next session, I will be coming out with this notification and with the other news articles if some is important. Okay. So I hope you have understood about the categories of the UCBs, and I hope you have understood about the FSWM criteria that we have done, as well as what the banks UCBs that come, what the UCBs will get if they come under the FSWM. So if they are coming under the FSWM, they will get the automatic route for the branch expansion. The CRAR, the net worth, the tier 1, I have already told you a little about the tier 1, that the tier 1 has to maintain the CRAR of 9%. 2, 3, 4, they have to maintain the CRAR more than the 9%, that is 12%. Okay. So I hope you have understood it very well, the new notifications that we have done. And yes, there is one more thing, that the revised instructions will be applicable with immediate effect, that is they have been applicable from 1 December 2022. From then only all the instructions have been applicable. Okay, this circular is applicable to all the primary urban cooperative banks, so it is for the urban cooperative banks. Okay, so now this is the first question that I hope that you can easily answer, and this is the second question where you have to tell about the percentage of the net NPA, not more than what should be the percentage for becoming a FSWM. So these were the people that gave the right answer of the previous session question. It was Rishabh, Shloki, Anand, Vardman, Yash, Raja Shekhar, Maddie, Sorish. So well done you guys, and thank you very much for replying, for giving the right answers. Okay. And the sale is going on from EduTap. This is a very big announcement that EduTap has brought out the RBI sale. You can use the code RBI to get flat 40% off plus 10% off for the RBI Grade B Gold course, and for the RBI Grade B Silver and for the RBI Grade B Combo course you can get 40% plus 10% off. You can use the code RBI. Okay, and this is going to expire today. So do subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel. You will get the PDF of this session in the Telegram channel. So thank you very much. If you have any query, you can mail us here or you can contact us through this number. Thank you very much.